Hey guys, Sierra Bailey here with Accel Commercial Real Estate. The video you're watching ties into our event in June, Accelerate. If you want to learn more about what you see today, scan the QR code on your screen or click the link in the description to get your tickets now before early bird pricing runs out. Enjoy the video.
So your cold caller, is that somebody's here local, or is that
So
a virtual type of?
both. So I have random people that reach out to me all the time, like investors calling from other places. And when I ask them if they have leads and stuff like that, and they say no, I'm like, hey, well, why don't I just build you a list? So I have a couple people that randomly, well, I'll just give them to them that they just randomly call. So that's been a great source. And then I do have one that works 20 hours a week
Okay,
from the Philippines.
yeah.
She's fantastic. She's been with me about 2 years and she knows the script. She understands. She's very good to talk to. People like talking to her. And that is the hardest part, is find someone that a good VA for sure.
Yeah.
And I significantly overpay her because I don't want her to.
To go anywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's a great point, because
Yeah.
when you find somebody like that,
I mean, overpaying them is still underpaying here.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's nice to not have to obligate them for the hours. They don't have to have them work every 20 hours a week. If I don't want them to work, they just don't work. I don't have to worry about employment taxes and W-2s and liability and insurance and workman's comp and all that stuff. So that's definitely the way to go if you
Yeah.
can do it for anything.
Yeah. So, good deal. Other questions here? Santos, I
Yeah.
can see you got a question.
So how do you, between being a developer, being a multifamily, and maybe, do different projects, how do you find yourself being more efficient than being all over the place? Instead of, how do you organize yourself to like separate the deals and be like, maybe this deal is better than this whole deal here?
Well, I have like metrics that I use that I usually pretty much analyze something within like a minute. Number one, I'm always focused on the acquisition and doing my follow-ups and getting the new leads that they bring in or that I generate. That's a 100%. So I'll time block, time during the week to make sure that I have those calls. Now I have really good systems too. I'm not sitting there dialing the phone. I pull up my thing, I put a couple check boxes, it goes into a dialer, and I can call my 20 follow-ups in like 2 minutes if they don't answer. Hang the phone up, go through the notes, update notes, text them all, and take it from there. And it doesn't take that long. As far as analyzing properties, I just want to analyze it enough where they're asking a realistic-ish price. And then I put it under contract and then I'll spend time on it. But I'll have to block time depending on what's going on. I don't do tons of analysis. Multifamily stuff like that. I mean, now for Clarksville, for instance, like I know that market. I don't have to sit and analyze it. I know the rents. You don't have to do anything. And that's what helps with, knowing your market. So like for Clarksville, even for Nashville, I mean, I could look, you just know, you have your benchmarks of numbers and stuff like that. So you don't have, I never plot a spreadsheet, never. Like people have to send them to me that I work with because I just don't do it. And that's where the property managers come in. They keep track of the books and they can send me all that. So, that's also key too. So my property manager, if I want to go, if we have some property that we're interested in, like they'll go do hey, can you go check it out? They'll go there. I'll schedule time with them. They get them in the house. They'll do all that for me. So, because I'm also part-time here and part-time in Florida, so I'm not always here. So I have to learn to just be completely remote. So, FaceTime is huge. Driving, like I only drive to like the most important places. I try to avoid going to a property as much as possible. I don't need to see what a lot of it looks like. I don't need to see what it looks like until an inspector goes and I can wait on a report. I don't care what it looks like. Land, you kind of have to do it a little bit different, but with Google Earth and, being able to look at the topo and all the layers and, people on my team that are here, I'm only spending my time like working on trying to either sell the next deal or bring the next deal in. So, acquisition, bringing them in and putting them out, dispo and acquisition is like, and just time blocking. And making sure like the most important things to do, and to not do like saying no to a lot of people and things that will suck your time up for sure.
Yeah, so that,
Does that answer your question?
and we had to hurry up and get Greg, because he's getting ready to head to Florida for Thanksgiving and beyond for the next several months. So we figured we needed to hurry up and get him in before he went to Florida, because we may not see him again. He may not come back, enjoying it. So
That's what Zoom is, such a great tool.
Yeah, so at least, he's down there, he can come back when he wants and when you don't want, right? So Pat, go ahead.
Greg, what is the source of your funding for acquisitions?
As far as,
Do you borrow from banks or?
oh, yeah, okay. So pretty much everything is self-funded, or, I've got a couple banks that will give me 80% on, just raw land with, interest only. So those are kind of my worst case. We're really, really good at being able to take the inventory and, planning well ahead and figuring out which ones we're going to close on and which ones we need to assign, and getting them assigned well on the front end. So we kind of have it mostly allocated. And if we're closing on something, we either plan to close on it anyway, or it's a worst case scenario. Or we just get a smoking deal and we want to close on it. And then we'll just pull, all of us put our own money in. Or take a bank financing. I don't use much private money. I'm not opposed to it. I just never had to. I like using my own money.
So when you mean assign, because I don't know if everybody in here understands what that means, so.
What assign means?
Yeah,
Well, assigning a contract to a third party, taking the terms of your contract and, for a fee or whatever,
right.
assigning it to someone else. So whatever your value add is, if you have a flip for 50 grand and you think it's worth 100 and you assign it for 80, so you make the 30 grand spread basically. That's kind of what that is. I mean, that's the very basic way, but
Yeah.
when you're doing land, it's definitely not like at all.
Yeah, right. And then I know you'd like today, I think you posted, talking about, it looks like two bills, and you're like, hey, we're under contract on this. So some of that you build, you develop, you build, and then
Well, yeah.
you sell, and so then you can use that cash
Yeah.
to do another deal.
I haven't
things
really
like
been
that.
doing much of the
so,
building,
yeah.
but yeah, I mean, that's where you just get good at getting stuff at the right price, and taking advantage of the market and who's paying what. Like people are, I can't pay what some people are paying. I'm not that guy that buys at a 1 or 2 cap. But if somebody's out there to do that and we know those people, and why not take advantage of the market? I want to just try to build semi-liquid, a good balance between liquidity and equity, because, if depending on forecasting income, we have to figure out like, how are we going to offset this? Like, do I need to find an apartment building because we're about to, have an abundance of funds, or do a 1031? So it's a lot. It's like playing chess. It's like, you don't really know what the exit is. You just kind of have to see what happens within that time, and just prepare for all things. Like we prepare for bank financing, we have people that we can reach out for backup, so, we're just really prepared, and we just see where we're at, and we just move a piece and, see where that lands and take it from there.
Tommy.
I mean, you've done pretty well so far, and congratulations on your success. And I guess the question I'm curious at your point is, what problem are you trying to solve for in your business?
Can you please repeat the question?
For our Zoom
Yeah,
people.
so for our Zoom people, so, yeah.
I thought it was like a message or something. What is going on? I saw it.
Don't say it again.
Yeah.
Well, I
So the question was, is, hey, you've been successful, you've done well. So what in your business right now, or, you're trying to solve, right? I mean, you've been successful, you got a place in Florida, you can kind of go down there, take your time, spend some time, enjoy it, enjoy the beach, all that good stuff, but still do some work. So since life seems good, I think Tommy's kind of like, so what problem are you trying to solve in your current business, or maybe how can you improve and make it better?
It's a great question. To really better answer that, it's kind of like I am building the business to be able to do things outside the business. So I feel like if my business is running it's almost efficiently, it's like my duty to be able to do that at top level and be able to use that type of energy toward things that, you know, on the outside that have nothing to do with business. A lot of it is with like, I'm gonna be on a board here next year of a nonprofit that it's called Shower Up, homeless, you know, showers downtown and stuff like that. There's multiple things that I try to do. So when you ask that question, the problem is the highest and best use of the time. Like I'm trying to squeeze, you know, high income hours as much as I can to be able to take that revenue and have more non-paying hours that give back from the energy that I brought in from business. And that's all, you know, being figured out all the time. That changes. Always have to just be looking for that other
I
opportunity.
can tell you too, Tommy, before I go to Janet, one other thing he's solving in his business right now. He's getting married here, you know, he just said he does a fiance now. So yeah, there you go. Yeah. I was just trying to help you in case she's watching. Yeah.
Make sure we cut that part out.
Yeah. So,
But yeah, I
Yeah,
mean, like, so, I mean, the problems are just like, I mean, as far as like, we're talking about business, but it just depends on the situation. And if it is a problem, a lot of times they're not problems. You know, I feel like that a majority of the sellers and people that we work with are other investors and stuff like that. They're, you know, and they're just wanting to move on to another deal or another project and stuff like that.
Jen,
So when you first started out, how many hours a week did you spend, and year 4 and then now, kind of beginning, midway, and now versus in the actually
Sure.
doing the business?
so the question is for those, their zooming question is, okay, so when he first started out, how many hours in the business to midway into it to now? What does that look like? as
My
far as
schedule has
time?
pretty much stayed the same. So I'm really strict about like 8 o'clock, my day starts. That's just been in my head. I expect people know to start hearing from me, and it just starts my day. So back at the beginning, you know, usually 8 to 12 or 1 is I don't, no appointments in the mornings. I mean, that's just my rule. I do nothing outside the house unless I absolutely have to before noon, because that is the time when I'm making those calls and I'm analyzing those deals, and a lot of less incoming comes in where I could spend my time, you know, in the morning, first thing, making sure I have my day figured out. Who's the hot leads I got to call? Who do I got to send an offer to or follow up with? And I like, you know, before 9 o'clock, I have a lot of that carved out. And if I'm doing just straight up lead gen, like on the dialer or following up with leads, you know, I usually will figure out how I'm going to analyze that in the morning, whether I got to call them later or look up some stuff before I call them. Appointments are always in the afternoon sometime. And I like to block things, like I pencil in a lot of appointments and I'll move things around depending on, you know, if 3 people need to meet at 10 a.m. and 12 and 3, I'm like, hey, could anybody meet before 1 and 2? And I try to, you know, block all of the drive time together, you know, especially I'll even do it different days. Like if Clarksville, for instance, if I know I'm going to Clarksville, I'll make sure I go through everybody. Who do I need to stop by? Who could I visit? You know, what properties do I need to see while I'm going out there? And I'll just start blocking everything together. So ever since, you know, probably last year, the year before, like 5 o'clock is my day. I don't do anything at night because that's not my highest best time at all. You know, if I have to go on an appointment or something, sure. But, you know, 4 o'clock is like where I start to shut it down, unless, you know, I mean, it doesn't always work that way, but that's my goal. And even on like days that are light, you know, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock rolls around, I know it's like everything important's done. I carved myself some time just to chill. But, you know, my energy, I mean, I'm only optimal, you know, maybe 6 solid crushing hours a day. You know, other than that, I'm, you know, doing tests and just trying to get to the next thing. So I, you know, and that's just who I am. I don't do good at night. Like I am worthless after 6 o'clock, you know?
Yeah, we have that term between Janet and I. It's for Janet, it's like, okay, office hours are over at such and such time. So
Yeah, I mean, there's always
that means I
emergencies.
just talk to myself.
Yeah, the big thing is like, and a lot of that was, you know, just like a second, sorry, I guess it's awkward for a second.
Thanks for watching this video. If you like what you see, be sure to follow our Generational Wealth Learning series. On select Thursdays, we offer cutting-edge industry information that would normally cost thousands of dollars. And the best part, our education is absolutely free. If you register through our events page, you can join us live, either in person or over Zoom. In the meantime, like this video, comment down below, and subscribe to our channel so you never miss a beat.